Good afternoon, everyone. Coach Tyner heard me in the back, so I guess we're good to go. Welcome back to Bearbackers on our familiar Monday. Had a lot of action last week and quite a bit coming up this week. Today, men's golf's playing down at Louisiana Tech. Women's golf is competing in South Carolina today and tomorrow. Tonight we have the Nathan Brown Show at 7 p.m. at the Walk-Ons. Thursday, women's soccer opens ASUN conference play Thursday night at Queens University in Charlotte, North Carolina. Friday, volleyball Sugar Bears open play in the UNA Volleyball Classic at North Alabama in Florence. Our women's tennis team hosts day one of the UCA Fall Invitational. Saturday, volleyball continues at the UNA Classic, and tennis continues with the Fall Invitational. Men's and women's cross country runs in Nashville after taking last weekend off. And the football Bears head back to Fargo, North Dakota, take on the number 3 North Dakota State Bisons. Sunday, women's soccer is at home with Kennesaw State, and ASUN action at 1 p.m. at the Bill Stevens Complex. We're going to start today with volleyball. Sugar Bears had a couple more non-conference games this upcoming weekend, but they also open ASUN conference play on Friday, if that makes any sense. This weekend in Florence, UCA takes on host North Alabama to start the tournament on Friday. That match will also count as the first ASUN matchup of the season. Actually, the first conference match in the entire conference. The full conference schedule starts next week. After that, we face Mississippi Valley and UAPB on Saturday. Last week, we went 2-1 at the Tulsa Invitational. We beat UT Arlington 3-2, Oral Roberts 3-0 on Friday, then lost 3-1 to host Tulsa on Saturday. We'll let John tell you a little bit more about the specifics of those wins. The next home match for the Sugar Bears is a week from Friday against Lipscomb, and also that Sunday versus Austin Peay. Now let's hear from head coach John Newberry.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you guys. Good week in Tulsa. We came out and snapped a 6-game win streak with UTA. That was a great win. They've got incredible team, great coaching staff, and they've got a couple of girls that can. One of their kids, I thought there was the floor was on fire. She hit the ball so hard. There were splinters on the ground after the ball left the floor, and luckily our kid was not in the way of the ball on that one swing. That would have hurt. But anyways, anytime it's to play an old conference opponent. And to get a win from those guys is good. UTA, they've got actually 4 girls from the state of Arkansas on their team, and we actually got to see 2 of them. One of them was recruited by us. We ended up losing out on that one, but still ended up winning, so we're fine with the way we are right now. And then Oral Roberts, under new coaching staff, new leadership. They definitely lost a little bit of athleticism compared to their previous squad, but very, very, very good coach team. They were prepared. They came out swinging, and then we were able to kind of solidify a few things. And then Tulsa. Tulsa has a couple outside hitters. They had this one kid, and she had a really high-level ceiling, and then she took it to another dimension, and we don't know where she came from, how she got there. We want to find out. We want to do what they did and get some type of Terminator like that. But she ended up having, I think, like 23 kills at the end of the game in a 4-set match, and just kind of had her way with us. And our only plan was to stop her, and she was difficult to stop. We did everything we could, but didn't work out. So successful weekend. I want to congratulate Kaylin Coons. You'll always hear her name. Our setter. She was one of the all-tournament team members, and then Allison Holloway. Allison's a sophomore here at UCA. A junior here at UCA, and middle blocker. So having a middle blocker get all-tournament team is not very common, but she was our kill leader over a few days, and so I was excited to see that. We're going to North Alabama. They are hosting. I did not want to play a midweek game with them, so that's the reason why we're heading down there early. And so I don't like midweek games. It kind of throws off your routine just a little bit, and we haven't really been in a full routine So I just wanted to go ahead and get this game over with early. I feel like we should know the identity of our team by this time, and I feel like we're kind of just now starting to figure out our stride of what we got for the rest of the season. We're close. I'm excited. So we've got that, and then I can't wait to get back home. We're playing Lipscomb. Lipscomb has picked, I think, top 3 in our conference this season. They look good. They just beat Kansas State yesterday or 2 days ago. That was a good win by them. So excited to get back in the Prince Center with those guys. They've kind of been a little bit of our kryptonite. I do talk to the head coach of them quite often, and he's ready to see. It's always been a good program there. But anyways, just in case, I don't know if we've been able to introduce the staff thoroughly enough, but associate head coach Aaron Mora right over there, and then assistant coach Kat Griffith right here. Kat is kind of transitioned to, she is indoor and beach. There's a lot on her table. And then we also got coach with us here, Aaron Martin, for beach as well. So I just want to point these guys out. They do an incredible job. A lot of hard work goes into running these 2 programs, but we feel good about what we're bringing to the table here at UCA. So if there's any questions? No, Gene. It's good. We got done with our Tulsa game. I wanted to win in 3. We ended up losing in 4, but I was kind of looking at my watch kind of at the end of the 3rd set. I'm like, man, if we can take this game, we can be right there at halftime for the football game. So we ended up getting right in the middle of the 4th quarter to see the guys take that victory. So congrats to football on that game as well. So anyways, all right, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Speaking of his staff, if you ever need a bowling partner, she's right here, Kat. We had our staff meeting earlier in August, and we didn't go into a bowling get together divide up into teams, whatever. She bowled a 219, I believe, about 100 better than anybody else. And I'm not lying. It was pretty impressive. We all gathered around the same lane. She bowled a 219. I'm sure that's. So she's on my team next year, no matter what. Our women's soccer team's coming off a 1-1 week, both matches at home at the Bill Stevens Complex. We beat Oral Roberts 1-0 on Thursday night. We scored in the 60th minute, Megan Mowdy, and we survived 24 shots by ORU and still held them scoreless. Sunday afternoon, we lost 2-0 to Tulsa. This week, we play at Queens on Thursday in Charlotte, back at home Sunday against Kennesaw at 1 p.m. First of 3 straight ASUN games at home. Let's hear from Coach Jeremy Bishop.
Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. So wrapped up the non-conference slate of our schedule this last weekend. Looking back on our non-conference schedule, it was really tough this year. We've had a lot of really good opponents, several that are ranked right now in the regions across the U.S. as far as the different areas. And so we feel like we're well prepared going into conference season. The win against Oral Roberts on Thursday was great. They're a good team, and we played very well battling them. Steve mentioned they had a lot of shots, most of them for distance. We did a good job of keeping them out of dangerous scoring chances. But as a matter of fact, they beat Kansas State yesterday. So they're a very good team, and so that's given us some confidence going in. And then Tulsa yesterday was another very good team that we played with. We gave up a goal toward the end of the first half. Second half, we came out and had a lot of really good chances to tie it up. Couldn't quite do it. Threw a bunch of numbers forward at the end of the game, just trying to get that equalizer, and gave up a second one late. So ended up being 2-0. But it was a very good game with a lot of good scoring chances, which has been something that we've been struggling to create, I feel like, for most of the season. So doing a good job of keeping teams out, getting a few more scoring chances than we were early on. So I feel like we're hitting our stride right now, which is a good time heading into conference play. So a little bit of a weird opening weekend for everybody within the ASUN. Everybody's got a split weekend, meaning we've got one on the road and one at home. Everybody's doing it. And then after that, everything is either both at home, the Thursday, Sunday, or both on the road. So that makes it a little bit easier for travel and things like that. But this weekend, we go over to Queens for the Thursday night match. So we're back here, fly home on Friday, and then play a home game on Sunday against Kennesaw. They'll be home on Thursday. So, like I said, a little bit of an interesting scheduling quirk, I guess, at the beginning of the season. But looking forward to getting into it, getting into the conference play. This is what we've been building toward. And like I said, I feel like we are playing our best soccer right now of the year. So hopefully we can continue that going into conference play, get one on the road. And then we have 3 in a row at home between Kennesaw on Sunday and then Florida Gulf Coast and Stetson the next weekend. So good stretch for us, hopefully to get ourselves at the top of the board or close to it coming out of that. And then 11 matches within the ASUN schedule. So hopefully we can do what we're used to doing, which is competing at the top of the league. So looking forward to it. A couple players to mention. I don't know how many of you have been able to see our team play, but we've played 2 goalkeepers quite a lot this year. Lenya and Kesa both have been doing a pretty good job and have been able to both each get a shutout this season. And we played them both in the match this past Sunday, yesterday, and they both played really well. Both came up with some big saves in that match as well. So goalkeeping is coming together. Our back line's doing a good job. Emily anchors that group. She's a senior for us, Emily Whistle-Lippman, and she's been playing very well, continuing to organize our back group. And then Steve mentioned Megan scoring the goal on Thursday. She's a freshman out of Cabot. She's been doing very well. We've got several freshmen that are contributing a lot of minutes. Another freshman scored against Oklahoma State the other day. Last weekend? No, it runs together. And so the team is doing well. Gabby, Theus, and Kelly have been continue to be good players for us. They're both juniors, creating a lot of our attack. Even though Gabby plays on the back line, she's always getting forward and joining the group. And then Sydney Bro, who's our 5th-year senior, has been tremendous, just creating energy and opportunities for us, really on both sides of the ball. So just some names for you as you're looking at things moving forward, but looking forward to getting ASUN's play started on Thursday. I'll answer any questions if you have any. All right, let's go Bears.
Our men's soccer team went to Colorado for 2 games this past weekend, where it was probably about 70 degrees every day instead of 90, so it's probably a nice trip. We beat Air Force 2-1 on Friday and then lost 2-0 to Denver yesterday. Denver's number 17 team in the country. Against Air Force, we scored the go-ahead goal in the 87th minute. Piero Fontana scored both of our goals in that 2-1 win. This week, only one game. It's an ASUN opener against Bellarmine at 7 p.m. Saturday night at Bill Stevens Complex. That night is also purple out, correct? So all the purple you had on this weekend, bring it out Saturday night. Football Bears did what they set out to do Saturday night and won their home opener. Played a lot of people, set out several people that had injuries against Oklahoma State. It all went to plan as we beat Texas College 70-2. Well, almost all to plan. We probably didn't want that too, but most of it was to plan. Anyway, anyone besides Natalie or Nathan want to guess how many players we actually played in the game? Not dressed out, but actually played. That's close. We played 90 players. I've been here a long time. I never remember playing 90 players. Nathan sends us a participation. We keep participation in the press box, but he sends us a sheet every Monday, and it had check marks by literally everybody's name. 90 players. We scored 2 touchdowns in the first minute 22, both by Shunderick Powell. We led 35-0 after 1 quarter, 49-0 at the half. 8 different players scored touchdowns. 2 had 2 each. Shunderick Powell and Colin James had 2 apiece. Shunderick Powell did his on 3 total carries. 3 total carries and 2 touchdowns. We had 499 yards total offense. 9 different players carried the ball, including 2 listed as wide receivers. 29 different players were on the defensive tackle chart, which is about twice as many as normal. Of course, now this week we have to ramp it back up, face probably one of the best teams in the history of FCS football, North Dakota State. They are 2-0. They're ranked number 3 in the nation. Number 2 in the nation. They beat Maine 44-7 on Saturday. They only led 16-0 at the half. They got it rolling in the second half and outscored Maine 28-7. You know the history a little bit. The Bison have won 9 national championships at the FCS level, and they haven't always been one of these perennial FCS powerhouses like App State, Georgia Southern, Youngstown State. They've done it all since 2011. So if you do the math, they've won 9 of the last 12 FCS championships. If you remember, we were there in the fall of 2020 for the first time. We lost 39-28, but we led 2018 midway through the third quarter. Their quarterback was a guy named Trey Lance, you probably heard of. He was drafted number 3 in the NFL draft that next spring, by the 49ers. He was just recently traded to the Dallas Cowboys. We were the only game they played that fall, if you remember. That was the pandemic year. A lot of teams chose to play in the spring. They played one game in the fall just to showcase him for the NFL scouts because they knew he wasn't playing in the spring because he was going to the NFL Combine and all that. So he did play in that one game against us that fall. Here's the fun stat. We gave him his first and only interception in his collegiate career. He had not been intercepted the previous year. Obviously didn't play any others that year. Nick Nakwasa had an interception, his first and only one he gave up in his career. If you remember, we played that game in front of 471 fans due to the pandemic. They told us leading up to it they were going to allow 10%, which would have been about 1,300. The week of, they changed it. The city of Fargo or somebody decided they couldn't have that many, so there's official attendance was 471. Last weekend, they drew 15,000 plus against Maine. It seats about 18 or 19, so we're expecting that. Hands down, one of the top college football atmospheres in the country, any level, and we're obviously going to get to experience the full show this Saturday. Kickoff 2:30 p.m. from the Fargo Dome. It is on ESPN Plus, and of course with our guys Justin, Chris, and Steve-O on the Bear 91.3 and the Point 94.1. Now let's hear from the head coach, Nathan Brown.
Steve, first let me wrap up Saturday night. I want to thank Conway, UCA, our band, our Bears Den group, dance and cheer, phenomenal night. I don't know what the attendance was and all that, but I do know the home side was full, visitor side was majority full, and then you looked on Bruce Street and there was probably another 1,500 people out there all game, and so that's good stuff, and it's our job. I say it many times, it's our job to put a good product on the field so people continue to want to come watch, and so just want to thank everybody that put that together. I thought it was a very organized day. A very, very big-time atmosphere. I know the opposing team, their head coach told me after the game how much he appreciated that atmosphere too, and so that was a great opportunity to showcase our team, showcase many of our players, as well as get another home game on the Stripes. I mean, any chance you get that, you get to have that, you take it. But excited, and yes, Steve's right. We did what we needed to do. Once again, we played a lot of players, and so I said it in the post-game interview with Steve-O, really, the opportunity to play a bunch of players can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it looks sloppy, sometimes it looks ugly, sometimes you're leaving the stadium that night as a coach going, man, just you won the game big because you're playing a lot of players, but you just have this bad taste in your mouth because you didn't play right, or you made mistakes, or young guys didn't do what you expected them to do. But we didn't do that Saturday night. I thought our young guys came in and they performed. I thought we didn't put the ball on the ground, no turnovers. Defensively, we held them out of the end zone with a lot of reserves throughout the second half, and then played a lot of players. And so when you get a chance to play a lot of players, I mean, that's a big deal because it's a chance to play in front of the lights, in front of the crowd, in front of in a college game, right? A lot of those guys, their reps have been in practice, their reps have been in scrimmages. A lot of those freshmen, that was their first taste of college football. I even got some second and third year players that haven't hit the field yet as well. So what a great deal that was for us to be able to take full advantage of that. As far as our first team guys, our top guys, they were about what I expected them to be on Saturday night. They handled the game plan well. We were very simple in our game planning. We just wanted to go out, execute, get better at us. That's what we did all week last week in practice, and I thought we were very efficient with that. I thought our running backs ran like they're supposed to run. I thought Will, obviously not being an aggressive play calling night for him, did a great job taking what the defense gave him as well while he was in there. Austin Myers got his first career touchdown pass, I believe, in the second quarter. He's got a huge upside for the future for UCA. He got his first action as a UCA Bear. I look forward to his future playing the position of quarterback, along with many others. I could go down the list of names, and it was a good night. But once again, something we should have done. So, I mean, it is what it is. And once again, I want to commend Texas College and their team. Those guys played hard for 4 quarters. They did not let our reserves come in and just play football. They made them work, and so that was good to see too. That program is in a rebuilding mode, restructure mode. They're trying to fight their own battles. But Coach Jackson, their head coach, is a great guy. I met their athletic director. He seemed to be a great guy. Just appreciate them coming up and competing with us. It was a good night for all, and they were very appreciative of us and our fans and our accommodations and all that as well. So that's a big deal. But Steve's right. We've got to turn the page quick. You sandwich a game like that in between, a Power 5 opponent in Oklahoma State and probably the best program, regardless of level in college football. I mean, there's not many other programs. I mean, you got Alabama and Georgia who have pretty good runs right now, but North Dakota State, if you put their resume next to those, it doesn't even touch it. 9 of the last 12 years, you're a national champion, and doing that with 3 separate head coaches just shows the culture that they have there. It's very impressive. But we're excited about the opportunity. We're excited about the challenge. I talked to our team last night. This is the games that you sign up to play for, right? If you play college football and we're having to get you ready for this game, we need to check your pulse, because these are the games you want to play in. These are the games you want to compete in, because this is your old school, smash mouth football game. North Dakota State is usually the most physical team on the field when they play every Saturday. They want to run the football. They want to play with tight ends. They want to play with fullbacks. They're able to recruit toward that because of their one, their history, one, their culture, but 2, just kind of their location. There's a lot of big boys up in the northern part of the country, and they're going to be probably they won't be as big as Oklahoma State, but they'll be a different type big if you know what I mean. So they're just a physical present football team, and the way what they do schematically makes them more dangerous than even an Oklahoma State team. Oklahoma State team's a little more of a spread attack. They're long, they look the part, they're fast. But North Dakota State, with their plan, they're very multiple in their offense. They're very downhill running attack offense. They like to gain gaps with extra linemen, extra tight ends in the game, and usually they're able to do that and do a great job of that. Obviously, they're off to a 2-0 start. They beat Eastern Washington week 1, and I know Steve mentioned beating Maine last week. That's 2 really good programs. Both games. Eastern Washington was actually in Minneapolis at the Minnesota Vikings Stadium, and then Maine was at the Fargo Dome. So they played really 2 home games. So we'll be their 3rd home game. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a challenge. But here's what our challenge is as a team is. I believe teams walk into Fargo and they're beat before they even walk in that place. I truly believe that. I think because of who they are and what they've done over the past decade plus, teams walk into that place and they're beat before they even snap the football. We're not going to be beat before we snap the football. And I challenged my team on that last night. That doesn't mean that we're not going into an environment that's going to be electric. That doesn't mean we're going in to play a program that is the standard, because it is the standard at our level. But it does mean that we're going to go do what we did week 1, and we're going to swing at them. And we're going to swing for the fence, and we're going to see what happens. I like our team. I like the makeup of our team. As a matter of fact, we've had about a 2-hour, a little less than a 2-hour practice last night, and it was one of the best Sunday night practices we've had in a long time. And so that gets me excited. That sets the tempo and tone for the week. Fortunately for us as coaches, we planned ahead. We worked on some North Dakota State stuff after hours last week, just because we felt like we could. So we got a head start. Most Sunday night practices, you don't get a game plan practice. We got a game plan practice in last night. So we feel like we've got compared to a normal week, we're a day ahead of what we normally are. So that's going to bode well for us as the week goes on and we continue to prepare for this. But we're excited about this opportunity. Look, when we went there in 2020, we knew what we were getting into, but we didn't get, like Steve said, it wasn't the full effect. You know, less than 500 people in the stands, almost felt like a scrimmage if you were there. I mean, you're in a dome and it's just quiet and just a different deal. You had to be there to kind of realize what it was like. But one fortunate thing is Will McIlvain has started a game in the Fargo Dome and had a chance to win the game at Northern Iowa. So we've kind of leaned on him a little bit on, you know, what's the noise like, what's the atmosphere like, all those things. So he has been good in some of our game plan meetings talking about some of that stuff because he's been there. He's played up there when that place is packed. And played against North Dakota State twice as a quarterback, once at home at Northern Iowa and then once at the Fargo Dome. So that's an advantage hopefully we can have in our back pocket. We feel like we are going to be a little more healthy this week. We held some guys from last week. We're in a good spot, I feel like, of getting several guys back that missed Saturday night after the Oklahoma State game, which that being said, Oklahoma State's obviously pretty good. They got a big win Saturday night against Arizona State, so that was good to see. Good to see for our program, but we're going to go up there with 75, 80 guys, and we're going to put a good product on the field. And this is a team that you can change the numbers that they're wearing and the names that are playing, and they look like the exact same team every year. It's an amazing culture. It's an amazing program. I've got nothing but positive things to say about Coach Ince and what he's done in his time of being there. It's neat to look at and watch and prepare for because that's what you want your program to look like. But we're going up there to compete, and we're going up there to win the game. And we feel like we've got a good enough team to go toe-to-toe with these guys and go blow for blow with them. And it's going to take a grown man type game. It's going to take who's going to be the most physical team on Saturday when we walk off the field, that's okay. I told our guys last night, we'll scrape you up, we'll put you in the bus, get you on the plane, and we'll get ready for next week. But we've got to leave it on the football field if you want to beat a team like this, and you don't have a choice. But that's what you sign up to do and play in games like this. So we're excited about this scheduling, unbelievable scheduling job by Dr. Teague, making this happen. I think this all kind of came to head around the COVID time, and creating this 2-for-1 deal with a program like North Dakota State and being able to return trip there, and they're going to come back here in a couple of years. This is the games that you dream about and you want to play in as a coach and as a player. So we're excited about it, and this is one we've had circled for a couple of years because we felt like we could have and should have and had chances to win up there the first time. We just let it slip away late. So we're excited about this opportunity. With that being said, I'd love to take any questions, if any. All right, hey, kickoff's 2:30, a little earlier than normal. We're looking forward to it, though. Thank y'all.
Dr. Teague's down at the golf tournament down in Louisiana today, so he's not with us. I don't know if you heard or not, but his father did pass away over the weekend. I believe the funeral's going to be this coming weekend, so he's not making the trip with us to North Dakota State, but keep him and the family in your prayers if you would. Anybody else have anything else? Dr. Davis? Good weekend for you too last week, I'd say. Really nice week for the whole campus. I did want to introduce, I introduced a Hall of Famer that was with us last week. We have another one here. Mark Turner, right here, former D-back for the Bears. He was back in my day also. I was telling him at our table a while ago, if you wanted to see a guy make some interceptions, that was the guy right there. He's all over the record book for that. So Conway guy too, so that's even better. Anyone else have anything? If not, go Bears, go Sugar Bears.